Madam Chair, members of the Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee, as well as the listening audience, my name is Cheryl Landis, and I am indeed running for chair of the Central Committee. I only have 2 minutes, so I'll be very quick. My leadership style will be based on strategy. I understand what we have in front of us right now. We have some immediate priorities that we as a Central Committee have to focus on, and one of those is our coordinated campaign with the Ben Jealous for Governor campaign. I'm very strategic, as I indicated before, and I'm talking about door knocking, lid dropping in each legislative district. We just finished the primary election, June 26th, which says to me that each legislative district should already have a pool of volunteers that they can call upon to do the door knocking and lid dropping in their district, phone banking in a coordinated campaign office, poll coverage in each legislative district on during early voting and also during the general election. Precinct counters need to be identified, as well as the volunteers, voter registration drives in each legislative district, and rallies and listening sessions in each legislative district. Also important as a priority for the Central Committee is we need to build a solid foundation for the Central Committee. We have many new members who are very much unsure about what their role is as a Central Committee member, and it is extremely critical that we convene a retreat, and as chair, I will immediately convene a retreat that will include our 2-year strategic plan. Each local jurisdiction in the state of Maryland is required to put together a strategic plan that lays out the steps, the priorities, the strategies, the milestones, the outcomes that will be put in place as we look forward to the 2020 presidential election. So we have also Plowmen and Fishermen, which is also coming up on October 4th. Subcommittee assignments need to be made. I will be very inclusive in that process, and what I mean by inclusive is
It's fine. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And each candidate is permitted to have 2 persons, no more than 2 people speak on their behalf, and each person can speak for only 2 minutes.
I have speaking on my behalf, Ms. Yvette Lewis, who is the former chair of the Maryland Democratic Party, as well as Senator Malcolm Augustine, along with Senator Benson.
Only two people.
One will speak, 2 will stand.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Sorry.
I have had the pleasure of knowing and working with Cheryl many years. And while there are millions of platitudes that I can offer up about her character, kindness, and spirituality, I want to offer some anecdotal examples of her ability and tell you why I think she will make an outstanding Central Committee chair. When I was chair, the state party asked each Central Committee to submit a 2-year strategic plan. What seemed like a simple task proved challenging for many. I was a teacher in the Montgomery County schools for 15 years. I wrote curriculum and developed a program for children that I used in 7 states. I've also conducted workshops for teachers right here in Prince George's County and states up and down the Eastern Seaboard. So when I received these plans, my educator's radar, along with my knowledge of Common Core writing standards, kicked in. You, Prince George's County, submitted one of the most comprehensive and well-crafted plans we received. Topics introduced clearly and developed with relevant and well-chosen details. Ideas were organized and the language was concise, which made the plan easy to understand. It was so well done that we used it as a template for other Central Committees. Cheryl's leadership was more than a plan on paper. When it was implemented, the structure served you well. I've also worked with Cheryl as she continues to give back to the county that she loves and serves so well through the newly formed Bowie Democratic Club. During this last election cycle, she hosted weekly organization dinners at her home, phone banks and canvases, and I might add, all as a volunteer. Last year, the club under her leadership even helped organize phone banks for Democrats around the country. I participated in them. Cheryl is steady and hardworking. She's not a flamethrower or publicity seeker. She will be a thoughtful leader wrapped in class and grace, and she will represent our county well. I urge you all to cast your vote for her. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair Peters.
Can I just ask the audience, please, if we can have no applause and be respectful of why we're here tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair Peters. First, I want to start by congratulating all of you on your election to the Democratic Central Committee. Having sat on your side as a gender balanced member, I know that it's not an easy task to put your name forward. I congratulate you on stepping forward and becoming a part of the process of electing more Democrats. So I thank you for that. I stand before you here in support of Cheryl Landis because I served with her here on the Central Committee. And I know that her leadership was professional and that when we had disagreements, which we had, because we all do, this is not easy, what we're gonna do and what's going on in front of us. But when we had disagreements, she came to me one-to-one. And she said to me, Malcolm, we have some disagreements. Let's talk about it. Let's work it out. I think that's very important. We have to have a professionalism and decorum amongst this group to work together. We've got to be able to bring together the citizens that we work for, the activists that we work with, and the other elected officials all together under one tent in order for us to get more Democrats elected, particularly Vangelis. That is our job. That is our charge. Cheryl is the right person for this group to be able to do that. And I wholly support her candidacy, and I hope that all of you will support her for chair of the Democratic Central Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, I'm going to ask members seated here of the Central Committee, if any of you have a comment on the credentials, the background, and the personal knowledge of Ms. Landis, you are not permitted to speak on behalf of the candidate. And if any of the members want to say something,
What?
go ahead. Any of the members? Any comments you may want to make about the credentials or whatever you about the candidate? Yes, the co-chair. Yes, go ahead.
So, I wanted to just speak, my question is, could you state for the record your position on moving forward in the direction where we will create precinct captains? That's my first question, and my second question is discussing the creation and evolution of a ad hoc committee to address concerns regarding our Central ballot.
Madam Chair.
Please, let's be quiet and let
Madam Chair, members of the Central Committee, her question was regarding the establishment of ad hoc committees, precinct captains. So, a part of my strategic plan that I will prepare for the Central Committee will include community forums and listening sessions whereby the Central Committee will actually go from each legislative district in the county. We have 8. So we will conduct listening sessions in each legislative district. We will conduct voter registration drives, we will share our strategies that are in the strategic plan, and I'm going to recommend that each legislative district actually consider developing precinct leadership academies, as well as voter support groups. And this will help in terms of, number one, identifying the volunteers, so that as we approach the 2020 election, we will be ready on the ground in terms of moving forward with our early voting in 2020.
Thank you. You will have 2 minutes to respond, please, before we move on. Next question, anyone, any member has a question or comment?
We have one.
I would like to know what I would like to know what your plan would be to develop cohesiveness among the members.
My style of leadership is this. I will honor and respect the opinion of each and every member of the Central Committee, regardless of whether or not I agree. Now, I do believe in doing things in decency and in good and proper order. So the very respect that I expect for myself, I will most certainly give it to you. And I think that as we work together, particularly as we develop our strategic plan, as we begin to go from county to county, relationships are developed. And I think that in time, people will come to realize the intent of your heart. And I'm open to the community and the concerns that they have. My commitment is to listen to everybody's concern. Yet at the same time, we need to be mindful of the fact that, particularly the issue that we're going to discuss this evening. We have a lot of new Central Committee members who, at this point, they're still unsure about what their role is as a Central Committee member. So it's about moving forward in a positive way, in spite of the fact that we may have to agree to disagree.
Thank you. Any other question or comment? We're gonna move quickly, please.
Got one question.
Yes, Miss Linda. Yes.
Will you be in favor of establishing an ad hoc committee to explore any issues with the sample ballot?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any last question, please?
Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. I had a couple questions. When I ran for the Central Committee, I signed a pledge to try to institute a few reforms within the Democratic Party in Maryland. A few of those reforms that are very important to me is the appointment process when there's a vacancy. Currently, when there's a vacancy in the House of Delegates or the Senate, as you know, the Central Committee makes a recommendation to the governor to appoint someone. I would much rather see a special election in that place so that the voters get to decide who will represent them rather than the Central Committee. I wonder what your feeling on that is. Another thing that's important to me is having a convention. The state currently doesn't have an actual platform. The Democratic Party does not have a platform. I'm interested in forming a convention to establish an official Democratic platform. Thank you.
You will have 2 minutes to answer. I know it's 2 questions, but you only have 2 minutes, and after the 2 minutes, you have to stop. Thank you.
Massachusetts has it.
The process of making recommendations to the governor is an authority that has been invested in the Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee. It's been on the books for many, many, many years. A special election, there are considerations that need to be taken, to be thought about in terms of how much will it cost. So what I would be in favor of is to actually have deliberate and collaborative conversations about the matter, inclusive of research being done to find out how much it would cost and to get the feeling of the rest of the body. Now, in terms of your second question, that too will require deliberate and collaborative conversations amongst this body. I can't commit to something that I'm not really sure about at this moment. I think it would be irresponsible for me to say so, but like I said, I am always open to new ideas, and I'm about being inclusive, transparent, collaborative in terms of moving us forward as an elected body.
Thank you, Ms. Landis. Okay, that ends the question session or comment from the members. Thank you so much, and I will now call on our next candidate, Mr. Comment from the members. Thank you so much, and I will now call on our next candidate, Ms. Dudley, to come on and speak for 2 minutes, and then you will call 2 persons to speak on your behalf who will also speak for 2 minutes each.
Could I ask that somebody turn, is there a reason why the lights are down?
We can't figure it out. Somebody's later.
Yes, Ms. Dudley, thank you.
These chains are here as a symbol.
My name is Theresa Dudley, and I'm a middle school social studies teacher, and I'm also president of Prince George's County Educators Association. 4 years ago, I was elected to serve on this wonderful central committee, and 4 years ago, we lost. We had this wonderful plan, and we lost the race. We lost for Anthony Brown here in Prince George's County. And the leaders, who are not even here tonight, our state senators, did very little to assist us on the ground as grassroots advocates to get it done. I sit here tonight listening to all of you and talking with all of you about what is gonna happen with the Central Committee. It's gonna be difficult for us to do anything because we got chains on us. Chains on us from the master that lives in Calvert County. And I will, excuse me, and I will tell you that my own elected state senator, Malcolm Augustine, came up here and sat up here tonight and spoke for my opponent because he has been threatened. He's being bullied. And I will tell you this, all of y'all who they told you, oh, you're not gonna be able to get anything done if you don't do what we say. A bully is a bully. And we know what bullies are. And when the bullies tell you once, I'm gonna get you if you don't do what I say, as soon as you don't do what they say, or you do what they say, they're gonna come back at you and bully you again. That's right. This is America. You have the right to shake loose chains and elect anybody you want to be the chair of this Democratic Central Committee. And I sat here and I watched us lose. I watched our previous chair withhold financial information from this Democratic Central Committee. I watched as this Central Committee paid fines because we were not in, we did not file our campaign finance reports. I watched as a coup happened on our Democratic Central Committee. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Can you just plug when you say previous chair? Am I the previous chair now? Or I'm outgoing chair? I just want to defend myself.
The comments that we lost the 2014 gubernatorial race with Anthony Brown with a great and wonderful plan. The thing is, we lost. And the working families of Prince George's County deserve to have a winner, and we need to be behind Ben Jealous and the working families of Prince George's County.
Thank you, Ms. Dudley. Now we will have audience, please. We will have 2 persons speak in your behalf, and each person will speak for 2 minutes. First person.
Hi, my name is Eric Swenson. I attend Rebound High School. 4 years ago, when I went to Benjamin Tasker, I was in 6th grade. Miss Theresa Dudley taught me as a social studies teacher. I can't admit I was a handful. I was bad. And she still loved me and treated me like the best student in the class. Other teachers dismissed me, but Miss Dudley was patient and showed me to accomplish anything. In 7th grade, I joined student government, and I ran for secretary. Miss Dudley always told me to show the world how smart I am. And I did, and I won. I am now in 10th grade. Miss Dudley believes in me, and she believes in all the children and families in Prince George's County. I know she wants the Democrat Party to make sure all of our school systems are best. So I believe that everyone should vote for her for the future.
There's our future. Okay, do you have another person?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, everybody. I have to tell you, it's my honor to be before you. You do good work, and I've seen you do it. My name is Yvonne Basich, and I teach at Kingsford Elementary School in Mitchellville. I also serve as the Vice President of the Prince George's County Educators Association. I am here to ask you to support Theresa Dudley for Chair of the Democratic Central Committee, the committee that must be a voice for working people, not for anyone else, for the working people. Theresa and I met over 15 years ago through our union, PGCEA. She has grown to be a dynamic leader and is respected for her work by our member educators locally, statewide, and nationally. It was her leadership that helped move the Maryland State Education Association, that's the MSEA, the state union, to endorse Vangelis for Democratic nomination for governor. She did it. I helped. She is committed to his election, and so should all of us. Social justice is not just a catchword, but a mantra for Theresa when we are discussing education versus incarceration, our DACA students and teachers, and restorative practices. As Democrats, we must lead the way on issues including a fair minimum wage. It is time for us to act like inspired social justice Democrats. She is a grassroots organizer and understands that it means reaching people, motivating them to vote. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. 4 years ago, the leadership of the Central Committee yielded a big loss in the governor's race, and Anthony Brown lost, despite spending close to $70,000 on election sample ballots. The Central Committee did not have to spend. It did not make a difference in the election. We need a passionate, brave, forward-looking leader like Theresa to lead the party for working people in Prince George's County.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now ask the members of the Central Committee. We're going to limit just one question to no more than four. How many spoke? Four members. If you have any questions or you want to comment on Ms. Dudley's candidacy, please do that now by raising your hand and I will call on you. Any questions or comments? Yes, Ms. Steele.
I would like to ask Ms. Dudley.
Wait for the microphone, please.
I would like to ask Ms. Dudley what she plans to do to, build cohesiveness among the membership.
She asked about cohesiveness amongst the members of the Democratic Central Committee. Because I'm sure when you walked in here, you could feel the tension today.
That's right.
And one of the things that we need to do is we need to respect different ideas. For the 4 years that I was on the Democratic Central Committee, whenever I would question things, most of the time it was because it was not in order. If you look in the blue folders that I gave you the bylaws. I printed out copies of the bylaws and the Constitution for everybody, so everybody would have some sense of what we should be doing. The other thing that I put in the blue folder that I gave everyone was how to do Robert's Rules of Parliamentary Procedure. You cannot have a meeting like this and people not know what it is that they're doing. You got people hollering at each other, screaming at each other, not following the decorum. And having a trained parliamentarian and having the members trained on how to use parliamentary procedure will allow us to move cohesively. And in closing, I just want to say this. John Richardson, in front of you, there's a paper chain link that is stopped at you, and I'm not picking on you, but the reason why I'm saying that is I put those in all of your folders as well, with the intent for it to go around and everybody to write their name and their district on that. Because this chain, we don't need it. We have each other. And we have to respect each other and work together in a way that's gonna make Prince George's County great, that's gonna make our schools great, that we're not gonna allow people to turn their backs on our children and overcrowd our schools by building additional houses. We need to stand and look at transportation. Why are we having a meeting way out here where nobody can even get here on public transportation? About, as a Democratic Central Committee, what the real issues are in Prince George's County, because we're the boots on the ground.
Thank you. comment from membership? Yes, Mr. One question, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Theresa. One of the reasons why I'm particularly interested in your candidacy is your support for Ben Jealous for governor. Your outspoken support. And I just want to give you an opportunity to speak about the organizing you've done on behalf of Ben Jealous and what your vision is for getting him elected in November. Thank you.
Three things. One is this Saturday morning, we're having a Prince Georgians for Ben Jealous meeting, organizational meeting at the Prince George's County Educators Association, and anybody who wants to come can come. This campaign can't be one person in a room telling you how we're gonna run a campaign. People have to have buy-in. So I want everybody who's interested to come out. I put it all over Facebook and the world, because we need to come together and figure out how we're gonna do this. Second, I am absolutely so behind Ben Jealous. When we talk about a social justice warrior, someone who is gonna talk about education and not incarceration, someone who understands that our DACA students and our DACA teachers should not be afraid, someone who's willing to stand up and say, why can't Maryland have single-payer health care like everybody else has? These issues are affecting the real people in Prince George's County. And if you don't realize that, then as a Democratic Party, we got a problem. When you have people who are losing their homes in foreclosure because they're trying to refinance their houses to pay for private school, when we have the ability to make our schools better. And we have to listen to people and make those things happen. And the third piece to all of this is we need to address the fact that our labor unions have pretty much walked away from the Democratic Central Committee. Ben was endorsed by many of the labor unions in the state and on a local level. And what we need to do is bring them into the fold and make them a part of this party again. We've gotten away from that. When I was the head of the labor committee, I had a hard time getting members to come in because they were distrustful of the leadership.
Excellent point. Yes, Mr. Williams.
Good evening, Ms. Dudley. Would you agree that in addition to rallying and incenting the community, that we also, as a Democratic Central Committee, need to work inclusively and cooperatively with the support of the leadership that you claim has us in chains? So my question to you is, how do you intend to use your style of leadership, of take no prisoners and blow the mother up, and how do you plan to rebuild the bridges that you have burned with the leadership?
Okay,
I want to know. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you. One second. I'm not finished with my question.
That's not, just ask your question. If you have a question, ask your question. Have you finished with your question? Okay, question is finished. Please, audience, let's just be
You know what, this is a
respectful
very
and
passionate conversation. And Thunder and I just wanna say this, have a lot of respect for each other. And we've had this conversation.
Correct.
Not in public, but in private. And I just wanna say to you, Thunder, these elected officials that I'm calling out have turned their backs on the children of Prince George's County. And they have not done what they need to do to improve the quality of life for Prince George's County residents. And the reason why I'm supporting Ben Jealous is because we need a change. And our senators, who only one of them showed up tonight, but every single one of them called every single one of y'all and told you who to vote for. And what I'm saying to you is power concedes nothing without demand.
Yes.
And it never will. And if we
Please, audience,
George's County, look, Amazon doesn't even want to come here. What are we gonna do about our school system? How are we gonna make it better? Because your education system is your economic engine. And we do need to work together. And I will share this with you. I have meetings with most of our elected officials this week. Whether they called me and wanna meet with me now. Because nobody wants to be at odds with each other. It was a campaign. The person who won. Ben Jealous won. And now we need to support him. And just because your person didn't win, doesn't mean you need to take it out on me.
Unity, yes.
I'm asking the audience, please, let's just be respectful.
Do I have any time left?
No.
I just want to say another thing, and I'll be brief. One of the biggest issues that we've had is that the senators will tell us what they want. They'll say, oh, well, we want you guys to do this. When we were looking at the sample ballot 2 years ago, they wanted to put 4 people on the Democratic ballot on the ballot when it was a nonpartisan race, and they wanted us to support candidates. And they came in here, they didn't even give us a list. They just wanted us to support any old body. We deserve better treatment.
That's right.
Any one more question or comment, and then we'll proceed to voting from the members. All righty, time is of the essence. It's now 9:15, and we haven't even done the executive. We're going to a roll call vote. I really want to address. I want to talk to the audience, please. We're going to do a roll call vote. I would like to ask you, please be respectful, no booing, no clapping, nothing, until at the end, when the candidate with the majority of the vote is called, we can all applaud respectfully. I would please ask that of the audience. All right, now we're going to have the roll call vote on the position of chair of the Prince George's Democratic Central Committee, Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee. Members, when your name is called, please say the name of the candidate you're voting for loud and clear. The candidate whom you want to serve as chair of the Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee for the next 2 years, beginning tonight.
Can they stand up?
So, Mr. Khan is going to do the roll call, and after the roll call, he will tally and tell us who the votes, what the votes is like.
Can they stand up so we can see?
Okay, we're going to start. Mr. Khan, please do the roll call vote.
Vanessa Akbar,
Cheryl Landis.
Donnie Arrington,
Abstain.
Donnie, we needed you to vote.
Antoine Brown, Nora Carmichael, John Carr,
Cheryl Landis.
Derek Coley,
Cheryl Landis.
Wow.
Linda Dia, Theresa. Theresa Dudley,
I'm voting for me.
Michelle Garcia,
Cheryl Landis.
Ingrid Harrison,
Cheryl Landis.
Sydney Harrison,
Cheryl Landis.
Stephanie Hicks,
Cheryl Landis.
Faye Marnell,
Cheryl Landis. Can I say something about
No.
that?
No.
Angela,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Angela Jones,
Cheryl Landis.
and Cheryl Landis,
Oh, I vote for myself.
Brian McDaniel,
Cheryl Landis.
John Richardson,
Cheryl Landis.
Kent Robertson,
What is that?
I said my name. Kim Robertson. Theresa Dudley.
Danny
Please.
Dudley,
That was me, sorry.
Theresa Dudley.
yes, Jacqueline Steele McCall,
Cheryl Landis.
Patricia Waiters,
Cheryl Landis.
Rhonda Wallace, Wayne Thunder Williams,
Cheryl Landis.
Cheryl Landis has it.
Please say the numbers, say out how many votes each person has for the record.
17 for Cheryl Landis, 3 for Theresa Dudley, 3 abstains.
Okay, 17, please. 17 votes for Cheryl Landis, 3 votes for Theresa Dudley, and 3 members abstain. And how many absent? 1,
One absent.
Absent, 1 absent. Okay, 17, I repeat again, 17 votes for Cheryl Landis to be chair of the new chair of the Central Committee, effective today. 3 votes for Theresa Dudley, and 3 members abstained, and 1 member is absent. Will Ms. Landis please come up, and congratulations to you.
I want to thank my colleagues for their vote of confidence. I will show the type of leadership that I believe is needed in terms of bringing us together as a county. I appreciate the service of my colleague, Theresa Dudley, and I just look forward to us all working together regardless of how we feel about each other personally. And we're gonna move this ship forward. So in the instance of time, we're gonna go ahead and complete the reorganization of the Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee. So at this time, colleagues, I will now entertain a motion for the position of first vice chair